Question: who's got time for a cup of tea? Not only just to hang out with me, but for yourself. Take a break. Back in a minute. This is Jan from New York City. My channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. Welcome to Tea Tuesday. This is an open collaboration of which any YouTuber is totally invited to come whenever you want. Do a Tea Tuesday collaboration, open conversation, random choices, anything you want. You're not committed. You don't have to be here every single Tuesday. But if you'd like to be here on Tuesday, I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great opportunity to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, even if it's not anything pertinent to the usual subject matter. My subject matter mainly is saving money, and I don't mind every once in a while taking a little bit of a break from talking about that. How you doing, everyone? Hope that this video, as always, finds everybody doing well. Did you ever have a day where no matter what you do, it just turns south? It just goes wrong. Every single thing you do, every single thing you touch just turns into either another issue or it just doesn't work out your way. I think every single person viewing this has gone through this at least once. There were songs about that. What the heck was the name of that song? There'll Be Days Like This, I think might have been the title. I'm not sure. But whatever it is, you definitely get the message. Now, as some of you may know, I am a retired school teacher. I used to teach grades 3 and 6. Let me tell you something. Words of wisdom comes from young people many, many times. Many, many times. But in this case, these words of wisdom did not come from a 3rd grader or a 6th grader. In fact, it came from my own granddaughter. But at that time, she was about 3. I had one of those days where every single thing I did, every single idea I had, it just went wrong. And like I even said to myself, I think I should go back to bed and do a reset on this day. You know how like you reboot your computer? I felt like restarting my whole day. Unfortunately, technically, you can't do that, but you actually can do that. Like you can at least say out loud, I'm restarting this day. So if you have a day like that just like everything is going like all right, just say, you know what? I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to take a pause, and I'm going to stop the madness. Sometimes having that cup of tea, like you may be doing right now. Today I'm having water. I don't know why. I just felt like I love this kind of water, this sparkling water. It's not seltzer. It's sparkling water. It has a hint of lemon in it, and it is quite good. I'm sure I've mentioned this to you a couple of times. No, this is not a sponsored ad. But let's get back to my granddaughter at that time. So she was about 3. I don't remember the specific thing that happened. Something happened, and it caused me to like just go, like right in front of, she's not used to that. She was not used to grandma like losing control, okay? But at that moment when everything just kept happening, I went, so I threw my hands up in the air. She probably got like, stepped back a second and says, wait a minute, that's not like my grandma, right? But anyway, that day, that was grandma. Until these following words of wisdom came from her very own 3-year-old wisdom, which was really better than an 80-year-old wisdom at that point. Definitely better than my wisdom, that's for sure, at that moment. And she said, you all right, Grandma? Yeah, how little kids talk. She goes, you all right, Grandma? Everything's going to be all right. Don't worry. I looked at her like the simplest sentence. A question and a statement. You all right, Grandma? Everything's going to be all right. I never forgot that. And now I use these pearls of wisdom coming from a then 3-year-old years later when I'm about to lose it, when I'm about to throw my hands up in the air, when I'm about to bite my finger off from the frustration of having that kind of a day where every single thing, it doesn't feel like it's going to be all right. You certainly don't feel it. But we could talk about that for a second. Sometimes we may feel things. We have to stop always caving into how we feel. What? Me not give in to everything you feel? Nope. If everybody gave in, okay, forget about everybody. If I gave in to everything I may be feeling emotionally, I don't know. I don't think it would work out too well. Because sometimes I take things to heart, and I just like admitting that. So I work on that, and then I remember those pearls of wisdom from a then 3-year-old. You all right, Grandma? Everything will be all right, Grandma. How many people out there have had situations like that? Where you thought, like you just thought everything wasn't going to work out. And then somehow magically, I was worried about something. I should say worried. I was concerned about something that needed to happen not that long ago. And what I did, and now we're going to get into my faith for a second. What I did, I said, there's no reason to worry about it. Give it up. Give it up to God. And that's what I did. I gave that concern up to God. We have that option. And after I handed it over to God, that matter, within 24 hours, I got a resolution to the matter. And the good news is, once I gave that matter up to God, guess what? I didn't have to concern myself about it anymore. It's like carrying, as I mentioned in the past, that sack of potatoes, 5 pounds, 10 pounds. Let's don't get me wrong. Economically speaking, potatoes are a winner. But carrying wise, if you have issues carrying things, it could be a heavy load. But we can take this load. We could turn it to God. We could relinquish it. Like my granddaughter said, you all right, Grandma? Everything's going to be all right. Well, I'll never forget that. And every single time I take my burden away from myself and offer it up to God. Leave it to God to handle, because he's in control of everything anyway. You're not going to outfox God. God's in control. God always wins. Just saying, just saying. So if he always wins and he has your best interest in mind, you're certainly more than welcome to hand your troubles over to him. There isn't anything so great that God can't fix. So if I'm reaching one person on this microscopic message on a huge platform with a gazillion other messages, then I did what I needed to do today. Something inspired me. I thought about that incident and I said, why am I thinking about that incident right now? Because guess what? It's going to be someone else's message. And I thank my sweet granddaughter all these years later. Thank you for that message. And you're right. Everything really is going to be all right. I had a situation years ago. My friend, my best friend, she was not of our faith, of my faith. She was of a different faith. But somehow she admired my faith, but she never left her faith. And that's okay. It's just, that was her choice between herself and the Lord, right? Never judged, never. Well, unfortunately, she had, a very serious illness that, was winding down her days. But she was petrified and she was in tons of pain. So right before, actually it was the last time I saw her in person. And I said to her, I let her know that it's okay to let her feelings go. It's not worse. She was so concerned about being here for her friends, for her family, and all. She was in pain. She was suffering. And she knew that her time here was not too long. And I just felt in my heart that she needed permission to let go and to let God. So I went there for the final visit. Literally, it was about 2 to 3 weeks after that visit. Mind you, she was not from the same faith of mine. So I held her hand. I looked right in her eyes. She said, "Is everything going to be okay?" Because she was scared. So I took her hands. I looked right in her face. And I said, "I promise you, from the depth of my being, everything's going to be okay." "You mean it?" "I never meant anything more than I do right now. I promise you, everything's going to be okay. You don't have to stick around and make everyone else happy. You have to do what you have to do. And just relax. Know you are loved. And I promise you, everything will be okay." Now, this is years before my granddaughter ever came into being. So, you know what? The moral of the story, even with the craziness going on right now, there's always going to be craziness. Think about that for a second. Was there a time that there wasn't any situation, if you turn on the news, that something didn't sound crazy? So let's just put it this way. There's always going to be some sort of craziness. And of course, some media outlets like to exaggerate things too. Just saying, just saying. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my opinion. That's my opinion. But getting back to everything will be all right, even now. Rising prices, everything's going to be all right. Can't figure out how to budget? Turn on a video. There are 1,000 here. There are 1,000 on my own channel. And not to mention the gazillions around me, other channels, which I always encourage people to view. Will everything be all right? I promise you, everything will be all right. It's just how we look at it. So I'm going to have a little more water. And hang on. So rude of me sipping my water on a video, but I need it to wet my whistle. And I want to thank you for everything, for being here with your cup of tea, coffee, Joe, water, or even nothing, just sitting here hanging out. If you got a word of encouragement from this video, please don't hesitate to share it. Please don't hesitate to review it. I'm not saying it for views. Honestly, I could care less. But if it gives you a word of encouragement to repeat a video, I've done it. There were some videos that I might have seen maybe 3 or 4 times just because I got such a great message from it. So I'm just mentioning that as an aside. But anyway, hopefully everybody has an amazing upcoming week. And don't forget, other YouTubers, you are more than welcome to join in the collab. So I'm going to close out the show and I'll be back with a wave. In the meantime, you take care. Don't forget to come back Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. for my daily uploads, with the exception of Tuesday. Come back at 10 o'clock for my Tea Tuesdays. Have an amazing, fantastic day. And yeah, everything's going to be all right. Take good care.